Don't tell me you have never wondered who is the greatest NBA player of all time, Kris Humphries or Brian Scalabrine. Today we will settle that once and for all. Okay, well, no one has ever asked that question before, but we are all sick of the Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debate by now. So why not try something new? Can't think of a reason? Neither can we. Introducing the contenders. In the right corner, weighing 235 pounds, we have Brian David Scalabrine from Long Beach, California, known affectionately as the White Mamba. His nicknames are generally the best. Aside from the Mamba one, Brian was also known as the Veal Scalabrine and the Ginger Ninja. In the second round, the New Jersey Nets selected the power forward as the 34th overall pick out of UFC. While never an outstanding player in the league, Brian does have a title he won with the Celtics in 2008, and he doesn't take criticism from anybody. When a reporter asked him about his mediocre playing abilities, Scalabrine said, "I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me." And he was right, too. Brian took on any comers in a one-on-one tournament called the Challenge. Brian won all the games with a score of 44-6. Scalabrine was a fan favorite for his goofy personality and distinctive red hair, and inspired a series of hilarious memes, like the one that shows him in his 24 Bulls jersey with the caption, "Why do you think Kobe changed his number to 24?" And, "On the 8th day, God created Brian Scalabrine." And in the left corner, introducing Kris Humphries, also weighing 235 pounds, the power forward from Minnesota. Sure, Kris is probably best known for marrying Kim Kardashian as part of a 2-episode special on E! In 2011, and equally famous for divorcing after 72 entire days of connubial bliss. But he also played basketball, we promise. Indeed, he was an outstanding college player, winning Big Ten Freshman of the Year in 2004, and a McDonald's All-American. But sadly, the whole Kardashian fiasco made Kris, at least, the butt of countless jokes and one of the most hated players in the league. But let's face it, a lot of that was just because he had Kim and the haters didn't. Both players were different from all-star material, but they both played hard and got the job done while unfairly being the butt of many nasty jokes. Both players did more on the court than their stats imply, and deserve to be celebrated and remembered. And compared, of course. So let's compare their basketball careers and declare a winner, shall we? Who was the better offensive player? On the face of it, there is no competition here. Kris has more than twice the average points per game of Scalabrine. That is 6.7 to 3.1 for you stat heads. And in his prime, Humphries was a good scorer. It is hard to imagine Brian averaging 13 points, as Kris did in 2011-12 for the Nets. But we should point out that scoring over 10 was a real outlier for Humphries. And when we factor in minutes per game, the gaps between them narrow considerably. The former Mr. Kardashian averaged 17.8 minutes per game in his career, while Scalabrine only 13. But where Humphries is superior to Brian is in efficiency. The Minnesota native shot 46% from the field, 2010-2011. He even shot 52% while playing a crucial part for the Nets. Meanwhile, Brian could have been a better shooter. There is no way around it. His career percentage was 39%, which could be better for a forward. However, Brian was a better offensive player than these numbers may suggest. First, remember that at USC, the forward led the Trojans in basically everything, scoring 14.6 points, rebounds, and even field goals. And considering his bad NBA percentages, he was a surprisingly good free throw shooter. He shot over 80% in 3 seasons, and his career average of 78% easily beats Humphries' 70%. If you look at the numbers Brian put up, they are always low, but so are his minutes. In the only year he spent over 20 minutes on the court, Scalabrine put up his best numbers and proved a valuable member of the 2004-05 Nets. Still, there is no question. Humphries was a better and more efficient scorer. We give this one to Kris. Who was the better defensive player? Scalabrine had an excellent reputation defensively, despite all the jokes. When he came on, the team often looked more organized than with forwards who emphasized offense. The numbers bear this out. The average defensive rating in the NBA is around 110, and Scalabrine averaged 104 for his career. For some years, he had a rating under 100. Now, granted, it's easier to play with defensive intensity when you have a few minutes on the court. But even when Brian was playing over 20 minutes a game with the Nets, he had a strong rating of 103. What about Kris? He had a somewhat higher career defensive rating standing at 105. But, of course, that was spread across more minutes. So Humphries could bring a similar level of defense over more extended periods. And it also has to be noted that people spoke of Humphries as a defensive whiz at his peak. He took over 7 defensive rebounds a game for 2 seasons straight in 2010-2012. He averaged over a block a game in those same years and was well known for denying big shots in money time. And at his peak, he also outperformed the forwards he was playing against by 4 points and 2 rebounds. So he was routinely throwing his man off the game with solid and consistent defending. So who was better on defense? Kris was able to showcase his defensive skills more. However, Brian has had equal chops but fewer minutes to showcase them. Therefore, we can declare this one a tie. Who is cooler? One place where Brian has the advantage is that he is always beloved everywhere he goes. In particular, the bench-ridden player found love during his time with the Chicago Bulls. Sure, Scalabrine didn't play much, but the fans loved how heartily he cheered Derrick Rose and the other starters. The home crowd loved when he got some garbage minutes, and they would often chant MVP every time Brian touched the ball. Meanwhile, Humphries is, by all accounts, a pretty awkward individual. And when he was with Kim Kardashian and was an instant celebrity, it was too much for him to deal with. He remembers, "I'll be honest, I dealt with a lot of anxiety, especially in crowds. There was about a year when I was in a dark place. I didn't want to leave my home. It was a difficult time for the player. He got booed, which deeply hurt Kris because he wondered, why exactly are they booing me, however? Is it just because I'm that guy from TV? Do they think I was trying to be famous? Is it because they think I disrespected the game of basketball? The last one killed me because basketball was all I've ever wanted to be known for. So we have to give the cooler award to Brian. But man, we feel for Kris. He was a fine basketball player, and that instant fame derailed his career. Technically, Scalabrine has the advantage of winning a title. In 2007-08, his Boston Celtics beat the tag. But it doesn't count. While Brian did play here and there during the regular season, the forward didn't get a single appearance in the playoffs. But there is no question, Kris Humphries was a better basketball player than Brian Scalabrine. He smoked him on offense. After all, Humphries was a well above-average scorer with some silky moves, and Brian managed at most 6.1 points per game. They were about the same on defense, but basketball is a two-way game. We also can't help but feel that the whole Kardashian mess seriously damaged Humphries' career. He was hitting his stride in the NBA when the two got married. The massive negative attention coincided with a severe decline in his playing abilities. His minutes were cut and production declined. There is a good chance that without the distraction, he could have had several double-digit scoring seasons as an NBA starter. He certainly had the talent. Meanwhile, we don't want to sound mean, but Scalabrine does not appear to have had the ability.